Hi, this is Robert Kiyosaki, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. This is the most important thing you can listen to today.
All right. Robert Kiyosaki, Mr. Rich Dad, could you just wait a second before you endorse the Capital Hacking Show? We must make a public service announcement. Learn and Grow, your favorite accredited investor mastermind, the one where we can get together at one of these beautiful resorts owned by the accountable equity community and actually learn and grow together. Whether you're an investor today, thinking about it for tomorrow, or have never heard of private investing directly, it doesn't matter. This is an investor mastermind that is going to change the way you see opportunities today. We have 4 already scheduled for the year 2024, 4 in 24. They're found at accountableequity.com/learn-grow. And you're going to find out we have a March event, sign up now, an April event, choose that or sign up for that, an August event, and a December event. And we rotate through the various accountable equity resort properties. It's time to register. Plan your entire 2024. We want to be in community with you. We can't wait to have you visit.
Here's the one.
I have a dream.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I can do this all day.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
Cinderella's story out of nowhere.
Did you know that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself?
Welcome back to The Big Show. John Edwin, this is your buddy Josh. Welcome.
You know, Josh, we have had some really amazing, powerful shows here on Capital Hacking. Will Latif Little, it ranks up there, maybe the most powerful show that we've dropped. And we've said that a couple times, but guys, after you listen to this show, you will not just be inspired, but you're going to be motivated to make some changes and to help a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, this is a different show. This is where we really dig in on our principle that the people are the power, right? And the people have power, and we're not victims. And we can be victims, but we can also overcome our victimhood. And there's never been a better teacher of that than Will Latif Little. So, Will, thank you. When we listen to this show, you'll see why my breath was taken away several times. There's some really hard things are shared. The guy has a poetic way of speaking, on top of the fact that he's a true giver. He's a go-giver in a sense. He just never stops giving back to his community, our communities. But he says a few fun things, that reflection leads to freedom. He said, sometimes you have to see the gift of each situation. He says, being arrested can be a rescue. He says, the state penitentiary can become your Penn State. I mean, there's just, what he's done is he's been able to see the gift in each struggle, and he's doing a marvelous job of helping families and people and children change the way they see their situation.
Yeah, and he said something else, from convict to conviction. I thought that was very powerful. And you can also, and we highly recommend for you to look Will Little up on TEDx and watch his TEDx as well. It is super, super powerful. And we talk about that in this show. Also, you can check him out. There's an HBO documentary called Behind the Bullet, where they feature some of Will's life.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yep. So much going on. And then he ends with one of the products he makes today. So what a range, right? He's going to share with you just how to see life as a gift and even overcome those things that are really crushing your heart. And then at the end, he tells you how to make, product and to serve the world through that too. So what a great episode.
Let's go.
So, John, I am extremely grateful that you and I found Mr. Will Little, and it's going to be a great show.
Oh, man. Will, you are such an amazing guy. You've made such an impact, not on a few lives. I'm talking thousands and thousands of lives that you have touched. And so we are so excited to have you. Thank you for your time here. Why don't you start with who you are and what you're up to, and we'll progress from there.
Okay, great. My name is Will Latif Little. You can find that if you Google my name. You'll find a lot of things that I've been doing around the city of Philadelphia and also around the country. too, but I start off with humble beginnings with, growing up in a single parent home. My mother leaving my father from down south. That's where I was born at, North Carolina. And then we moved here when I was like 6 months because my mom was in a very abusive relationship with my father. I'm the only boy out of four girls, four sisters, and there's my mom. So I was raised in a single parent home without no role model to kind of follow, or no leadership that I would actually need growing up in this environment in the city. So a lot of things I learned on my own, a lot of things I discovered on my own because of a lot of things that I thought I was going through, my mom can relate to. So I really had nobody, a go-to person. So I had to figure life out. And as a young person, making a lot of mistakes along the way, even in school, fights and things of that nature, wanting to protect my mom, my sisters from the criminals of society and the environment, and people take advantage of women, and things of that nature. So I got really on the defensive side too, and protective side of taking care of my family. And as I grew older, I got into situations and altercations at school, but also my mom got into fights with her boyfriends at certain times in a relationship. And one of the fights I jumped into at the age of 13 years old, when I came back to live with my mother, because I was staying with my grandmother back and forth with my mom and grandma's house, South Philly, West Philly, South Philly, North Philly. And this particular day, I was 13 years old. I came home, lived back with my mother, and her and her boyfriend got into a fight, and I jumped in that fight because I got tired of people fighting my mother, or my mother getting into fights with guys too. It wasn't always the guy's fault. Sometimes my mom's fault, because of the trauma she dealt with.
Yeah.
So I jumped in that fight with him, and then he took me outside. Like, you want to be a man? I said, yeah. So he said, well, he took me outside and he put a gun in my face and said, don't ever jump into a fight with me and your mother again. And when he put that gun in my face, I stared down the barrel of that gun, and I wasn't afraid. I wasn't fearful. I became more angry. I think that's the first time I've experienced a blackout. I kind of blacked out. Well, everything he was saying to me, I didn't even hear it no more. And I think that turned me from being this quiet kid or afraid of the dark kid to a fearless kid, not afraid of death or anything like that. And I didn't realize that I was experiencing trauma at that time too. And my mom back in the house, my mom asked me, was I okay? I was like, I'm okay. I mean, I thought I was okay, but in reality, I really wasn't, because I experienced something that no kid should experience, basically, at that age. So as I continued to grow older, I became fearless, and I got into the streets, and I got to the drug trade, trying to fend for myself because my mom was struggling, 2 jobs taking care of me and my sisters. So I learned the ways of the streets and the hustle game, became fearless and started, hustling, and eventually got deeper into the streets, with all the violence and everything of that nature, and being a part of that, and wound up getting into a shootout and taking another young man's life, while also experiencing the death of one of my best friends who were murdered, when I actually seen his body laying in the car, and that traumatized me too. Some more trauma that I didn't address, So just walking around with this anger, like most young men are in the urban communities, inner city communities, but no one to address it, no one to help them process those feelings and emotions. We just wear them on our sleeve and our shoulder, then we act on those things. And committing that crime sent me to jail, to Holmesburg prison, the worst prison, at the age of 19 years old, for a very long time, 10 years in prison. And that's where I really started to really focus on who I was at that time. And my son was born 9 months later, so I really had a why. Like, I want to change for myself because I was so addicted to the streets and that life and on drugs. But I didn't want my son to go through the things I went through. Not having that direction, that guidance. So he became my why, and the reason why I worked so hard to develop myself while in prison. Without no tutelage, without no books that works on personal development, but just really, through the grace of God, just being able to discover the tools within myself of reflection.
Wow.
Reflection was my freedom, and I always refer to that to people when I talk about that story of being incarcerated, and how I wasn't arrested, I was rescued from myself and from the streets, which is undefeated. So a lot of that I share with the young men in the community, share with the older ladies, share with the adults that I talk, and just people in general all over the world. And I share my story about, challenges that we face in life, how we overcome, and how we overcome the challenges that we all go through, that we all will face in life, with grace, and also receiving the value out of those experiences.
Wow, the value. Mm. You know what? You've kind of laid down an entire, I don't want to interrupt the story because it's getting better, but I actually know we're about to get into some of the work you do. But, to summarize, my understanding is after that incident, boy, you said things like, I wasn't arrested, I was rescued. You got to go there. And then you said a lot of the self-development came through reflection, not through books.
Right.
Was there any human influence on you in during incarceration that actually was positive? Like, that's amazing if you literally just reflected on the situation, or did you have any positive influence while you were there?
Well, I mean, that environment is a very hostile environment, so it's not too many people that were. There's people who are just regular. I mean, people just have regular conversation about just life in general and wanting to do better and want to get out. But the tools, we lack the tools on how to do that.
Right.
People want to change, but they don't have the instructions to change. So there were men who were in there, I mean, that I may have received wisdom from without them even speaking, just being able to see them and knowing that I didn't want that for my life. Like seeing a man 60, 70 years old mopping the floor and sweeping the floors. I didn't want that for myself. Even though I was facing life in prison, or facing the death penalty and facing life in prison for the crimes that I committed, I was convicted in my heart that change was necessary. And regardless of how much time I was spending in jail, if I spent the rest of my life in jail, I still needed that change. I need to change like a man.
Just so there's two tough questions. One, how did it come about that you were able to leave the system like that? How did you get out? And two, how's your son?
Well, I was convicted of third-degree manslaughter charge. So that only gave me like a 15 to 30 year prison sentence, which the judge, at the time of my sentencing, he was saying to me, he's like, I'm gonna put you in jail for a long time, but not a long time, but just about enough time for you to really get yourself together. So he gave me the 15 to 30. He suspended 5 of the years, so I had to do 10 to 20 years. And I just took advantage of that. Took advantage of the opportunity, and said, I'm gonna work on myself. I'm gonna turn the state penitentiary into my Penn State.
Wow. I'll tell you that what you just said tells us that judge had a really good presence of mind and showed a lot of grace, and also must have seen something in you that you would be one of the guys to make a real difference, to change in that time frame. Were there people, and I know you said a lot of it was reflection, but there also had to be, because we talk a lot in Go Abundance about tribe. Were there people in jail with you that you kind of rallied around and kind of formed a brotherhood with?
Well, only brotherhood I would say, because I converted to Islam and when I was in jail. So that's the kind of brotherhood we had together, as far as like praying and thinking about God and repentance and stuff like that for the things we did, but really not honing on into like personal development. So it was just more so just regular shooting the breeze, like you're on the street, just running around the same people from all over the city, just into the same lifestyle, and more glamorization of the lifestyle more than to feeling guilty for or feeling ashamed about it. So it took that real commitment to myself, because it wasn't really offered up like that. It wasn't many books out there you could read. And it wasn't really conversations being held, because most conversations are about, glamorizing the lifestyle that we live. So I couldn't say that there really was that. Only thing that kind of gave me that particular relationship was the religious institution that I was a part of, that allowed me to be able to reflect more on my spiritual development, as well as my mental development, my emotional development. Yeah.
Yeah. And another question that comes to mind is, where was that switch from being so angry, from growing up hard? I grew up in Philly. Thank God, didn't have some of those circumstances, but you grow up hard, and you have to come to a place where there's forgiveness to move forward. Where was that shift in the power of forgiveness for you?
Well, the shift was in the reflection. After I sat down and I thought about my son more so than anything else, it's like, okay, let me look at my life now. When I was a kid, I was a good kid. You know what I'm saying? I was respectful to my mom, still am. I was respectful for the people. I was, I wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to do a lot of things that protect people too. So I was just reflecting on myself. And then learning that reflection taught me what happened in my life that made that shift change for the worse.
Yeah, I see.
So being able to identify where the core problem lies at, of my issues, to really go back and see that who I was at that time, to say, all right, I'm gonna forgive myself. Let me forgive myself first. Allow myself to move forward from this process. And then hopefully my change will impact other people and the victims of my violence or the things I've done. Maybe they see a different light in myself and may have changed them. And it has changed them. So we can share about that a little bit more once I talk about the journey outside of prison.
Yeah. I mean, I think you've done a great job of opening up a door that many of us didn't know about. And I'm sure we could talk about that more. I also want to pivot into all the great things you're doing now. So for the last, as Jon said, there's a TEDx video about this. So I'll let Jon take over.
Yeah. And Will is so cool. Many years ago, maybe it was 7 years ago now, when we were sitting on the second floor of a small Italian restaurant in Northern Liberties. And, you were so nervous because you said, man, I'm going to have this TEDx talk and I want to have a dry run from you guys and get some feedback. And I think there's about 15 of us up there. And it was such an honor to be a part of that. But, you knocked it out of the park, and I've watched that TEDx multiple times. But I'm going to give you the floor. Let's talk about what did you cover during that TEDx, because it was powerful.
Yes, well, during the TEDx, when I first got it, the TEDx, me and Tim was together. Me and Tim Rhodes, founder of One Life. We was in New York together, and we was pitching our pitch to a lot of radio shows and TV shows of that nature. So the guy at TEDx, like, I want you to speak at the TEDx next month. So I've been trying to get a TEDx for like the last 3 years before that, and I couldn't get one. But he's like, next month, will you be ready? And I was like, I said, yeah, I'll be ready. I'm gonna have to be ready. So I went home. I'm not used to writing speeches. I shoot off the top I speak from the heart. So they wanted me to prepare a speech for that day. And once I started preparing a speech, I wasn't sure that I was gonna remember everything I prepared. Right. I was just like in the hip. But when I did that run through with you guys, it gave me the assurance to continue. I can do it and go there and put it together. But I covered mainly my lifestyle growing up, the experience on the street, the experience in incarceration and being in jail, and also the transformation, the tools I use to transform myself to be better, and that anybody else can use in their own life to be better. So these are the things I share. And also during the TEDx, I took off the jumpsuit to show the transformation, the physical transformation of clearing the mind of all the things you need to unlearn to relearn and become a new person. The rebirth of Will Latif Little. So I wanted to do that artistically because I'm an artist too, as a poet. I do stage plays and things of that nature too. So I want to show every part of me in that TEDx. I want to give my poetry. I want to give my acting skills. I'm saying with the jumpsuit, and I also want to share my true, authentic story.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I can't wait to look it up. I'll put it in the show notes.
Wait 1 second before we move on, because I have to say this because you just touched on it. Mm-hmm. So Will comes out on the TEDx talk wearing a bright orange jumpsuit. Mm-hmm. And as he's talking, like he said, there's an art to it, because as he's talking, there's a point where he switches and he takes off the jumpsuit and then continues with his talk. Wow. You guys have to see it. But anyway, go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, jumping off the jumpsuit. So the jumpsuit to today, right? Mm-hmm. You've dedicated now. What is your day-to-day life? What is your work today? How can we support it if you need any? What is your work like today?
Well, I'm very active in the community since day one. I've been home this month 26 years now, right? So the
Wow.
day I came home from jail in 1998, I started working in the community. I started going back to the schools I was in. So I wanted to get back to the young people who had the same dilemmas I face, that single parent homes, dealing with trauma, witnessing a lot of things. So I wanted to get back and share my story with them, and also give them a piece of me, and so that they can make it. They can become better individuals without going to jail, without going on the streets and hustling. So I started doing the schools. I started doing going back to the prisons in the county of Philadelphia, started doing that. And I was volunteering doing all this work. Then I started a mentoring program in the barbershop with some of the kids that was coming to the barbershop. I noticed a lot of single parent moms was bringing their sons, and they can't control them, things of that nature. So I know they need men in their life. So I started a mentoring program in the barbershop. Every Monday we would bring kids around. We had 100 kids coming to the barbershop. We funded it ourselves, and everything I do, the city don't fund the things I do. You know what I'm saying, because I believe they work so elegant, they don't get funded. We don't get no money from this. So even I started doing more work in the community with the kids, and saving a lot of them. A lot of them grew up to have their own children, to be able to teach them the emotional intelligence, because these things are not taught in our community. They're not taught. We're not taught financial literacy. We're not taught emotional intelligence, and these are the two core things that drives us to the crimes that we commit because of that unbalancedness, or that lack of self-awareness. About ourselves. So doing that work in the community, working with different politicians, working with the prison system, going in there and volunteering, doing work with them too. But then the work becomes so strenuous because I was leaving the barbershop, going to the schools. I was leaving the barbershop, going to the prisons, and wasn't getting compensated for these things. So it was hitting my finances really bad, but my passion for to help people was just there. And I couldn't get the funding I needed to get from the city, because Philadelphia is more political, it's more like pay to play type of thing with the guys here. So I don't pay no mind. I don't let that stop me from doing what I'm doing. So I continue doing the work. And then I said, let me go to adults, because I see a lot of these kids, they have problems at home. They're not problem children, they're children with problems.
Yeah.
Right. So the problems stem from home. So I'll go to the mothers or the fathers not in their life, and the mothers who are in there. Most of our parents are bleeding on our children, on their own children. No one even realize it. Even from giving them everything they want because they didn't have it when they was growing up, or the lack of giving things because they don't have it. So I knew that a lot of our adults are dealing with childhood traumas that they avoid. So when I started teaching the emotional intelligence to the adults, I started a class, a volunteer class, a free class to come learn about emotional intelligence, because I know a lot of us are dealing with, right, especially right now, we're high in our mental health issues that we're dealing with, and people don't know that's definitely, sickness is definitely related to your emotions. Your feeling, the diseases you create are definitely related to your emotions. So just breaking that down, how the human system works, how the mind, the emotions, and the feelings and your actions work to create better outcomes, and doing that work here. So now I wrote another book too, John. I wrote the first book I wrote, I See Why. I wrote another book last year called Take Your Life the Fuck Back, initially, right? Excuse me, but it's FUC is an acronym for Finding Your Core Self. So, and I wrote it that way as a play on words. As a poet, we play on words a lot. So the aggressiveness that a lot of people need to change their life, to be more aggressive with, supporting yourself, be more aggressive with your self-care, be more aggressive with your self-love, because it's so much embedded in us from our history and our experience, because we are a record of our experience, and that we got to unlearn a whole lot of things. And it's going to take work, So the book gives you the tools. So I kind of changed the book too, because I started going to the schools, and the school started embracing the book. So I just changed it to Take Your Life Back, with the tools in there to help people deal with their depression, deal with their sadness, deal with their anxiety, deal with their fears, deal with just figuring out life, knowing themselves more well. So, and it's like a journal book too. You could journal after every chapter that let you know what you got out of it, what you're getting out of it. And like talking about reflection is one of the tools to understanding the tools of your brain, understanding how you were a child innately, you had skills and tools that you use, like curiosity, imagination, all these different tools that we are created with that we're no longer using because we've been distracted by life in general. These are the natural things that keeps you in alignment with your success, in alignment with your purpose, right? But if you're distracted by society and you've been developed by your environment, you become a product of your environment. So you're not using those tools anymore. You stop learning because you graduated. You stop learning because you got a degree. you know, and we got to continue to learn because life is about growth and development and evolution. Continue to evolve. The only way you can grow is with knowledge.
Mm, I love it. I know Josh is chomping at the bit. But something that really impacted me about your story is the gentleman whose brother it was that you killed. And he it was his brother, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he harbored this, Josh. You got to see this. I think it's on Behind the Bullet on HBO, right?
No, it's a documentary done by Fox News that we got
Oh,
Emmy Award.
okay. It was Fox News.
So,
Okay.
Power of Forgiveness. That's the Power of Forgiveness. A
Yeah.
South Philly story. Yeah.
Yeah. So this gentleman really harbored this hatred towards Will for many, many, many years, and he talked about how he would sleep under cars waiting for you to come by, and that power of forgiveness was so powerful that when he walked into your barber shop and you guys had an interaction. Can you just speak briefly to that?
Yes. Yeah. Basically, I knew that the guy had a brother, older brother too, as well. But when I got locked up, eventually I was in jail for a long time. He eventually got locked up too, and when I got out, he was in. So when he was in jail, he was talking about getting revenge and murder me. And so the guys in jail knew me and said, like, go talk to Will. I'm saying y'all should be able to talk. I should go talk to Will. So he's still harboring a lot of information and anger and who he was on the streets because he had a name and reputation on the streets too as well. So his pride and everything else in the way, his friends tell him like, yo, man, that boy walking the streets, your brother dead, et cetera, et cetera. Go revenge your brother's death. So when he was out there, he was plotting. He was walking around. He was hiding behind a barbershop, hiding behind cars. And ironically, his cousin owned a barbershop that I was at.
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
His cousin owned a barbershop, yeah. So his cousin never had nothing against me at all about the situation. He just let bygones be bygones, but he still was harboring that because that was his brother. So he would come in the shop. I didn't know it was him. He would come in the shop and his cousin like, yo, man, like he'd tell him to leave, because he was in there watching me the whole time and plotting on me. So he would tell him to leave, but he'll leave, but I never knew who he was. But he was saying that when he came in the barbershop that day, he said before that, he pulled the trigger on me one day. I was walking down the street. He pulled the trigger and the gun didn't work.
Whoa.
Wow.
He said the gun didn't work. He said he went home in his basement like, and the gun didn't work. And he said the gun fired in the basement. So he said at that point in time, he said something was always protecting you. He's like, something was always protecting you.
Wow.
And when he told me that too, I felt emotional about it too, because I was like, damn, like all this time I've been in God's grace. I mean, just through my experiences in life, this young guy, things I was in prison and at home, and hear him say that, and me not really knowing that he's out there, but me not going to look for him. I mean, me challenging myself not to go back to that lifestyle I was living.
Yeah.
I mean, know that I'm a sitting duck in a barbershop, knowing that too, not only from his brother, but from his friends, his family members live right around the corner, other family members. So me, I just stayed the course and stay focused. Like, I got to do this good. I got to pay back good. I ain't going to focus on the negativity. I don't want to revert back to my old behavior because I know I'll be in jail or I'll be dead. So when he came in the barbershop that day and walked in, I didn't know who he was because I never seen his face. I never bothered to see him. And I came in the barbershop early this day. I never come in the barbershop early, like 8 o'clock in the morning. I normally come in like 11 o'clock. And I was in there by myself. Me and another barber. The other barber went out. And then when he guy walked in, he seen I was there by myself. So he walked in. He's like, he said, I want to talk to you. I said, give me a minute. I'll get my stuff together. I'll put my stuff together. But I'm looking through the mirror at him behind me. He said, no, I want to talk to you. And I seen his face. So I turned around, like, look. So I was like, damn, I cut his son hair, something like that. I'm thinking like a son or somebody that I cut. Then I walked up to him and he just stared me dead in my eyes. I'm looking at him back, like what's up? I mean, to my mind, like, what's going on? But I don't want to give him negative energy either because I don't know what the problem is. He said, I forgive you.
Wow.
So as soon as he said that, I knew exactly who he was.
Amazing.
I looked at him in his eyes and I was like, thank you. Man, thank you. Because I knew it would take a strong man to do something like that, especially where we come from, especially lifestyle we live. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. With a sincere heart to let him know that I appreciate that. I mean, and he had his gun on him too. He said, I didn't know how he's gonna react. I didn't know how he's gonna respond. So even though people telling me about you, I would see you with the kids, I would see you with your girl, I see you with your son, I see you doing mentoring programs in the community, I see you doing all these things, but still I didn't know how you're gonna react to me or respond to me. So I broke my gun. I mean, well, I came to a point where as though I knew I had to forgive because it was killing me.
Powerful.
Yeah.
And you two have gone on stage and spoken together.
Yeah, I got him with me. I mean, when that happened, I took him in the back of the barbershop. We sat and talked for like an hour, to make sure he was where he was at in his mind. And I know that you forgive, you got to forgive over and over and over again. So I know it ain't one step forgiveness, right? So I want to make sure that he was comfortable. I mean, and that we see each other on the street, there would be no conflict or no influence by somebody else. Because people trying to influence me, yo, man, you going to talk to that guy? He's trying to probably put you to sleep, whereas though make you feel like everything is cool and get you later on. And I was like, no, I don't see that. I'm a good reader of people. I mean, I trust my instincts. I mean, so I was like, no, I don't think that's him. I said, even though he's still struggling with that, and I understand that, I empathize with that because if that's my brother, I don't know if I can do the same thing. I mean, I don't know if I can be that kind of person to say, I forgive you. You know what I'm saying? So I took that into consideration. I said, let's go share this with the world because all the violence is going on in our communities, killing on each other. We can share this conversation. We can share this piece with people, and hopefully it do some good. And we did that. And Fox News jumped on it. The Daily News jumped on it. We did a front page article with the Daily News. Fox News did a documentary on it. Got an Emmy Award for the best documentary for Fox News that year. And people was calling us. Guys was calling us. Talking about the guy where he come home from jail. Kill my sister. I want to kill this dude. What can I do? This person did this. I want to kill this person. So we was able to coach people, through that that dilemma. I'm saying with our story, and then we went to schools with it. And we got more men that got involved. I formed a group called RFP, which means redemption, forgiveness, and peace. And each of us exemplified that. Like he was forgiveness, I was redemption. My brother was peace, who stayed in the middle, like to really conversate with us. So we shared that, and we did mentoring programs too out of that in the barbershop. Like I said, we funded all our stuff ourselves. I mean, so we really get no backing from the city with that work. I mean, which it needed to be backing. It needed the support that it could have blew it up even more, got more kids involved, and saved a whole lot of lives.
I don't know if there's ever been a more important message we've shared, Jon. This is changing me. I mean, part of what we do on the show, Will, is we talk about the power of people and the capital. We are the capital. Our talents, our reflection, our emotional. I like your tools. You talk about the tools of imagination, creativity, all those things. That's the capital. Capitals can be called power, right? Some people think, you always think of it as cash, but it's not cash. It's us.
No,
it's us. We have the
it's
power.
It's energy. Everything is energy, and money is the currency. So it's energy, and that's what we try to tap into to let people know that everything's connected by energy.
Yeah. What I mean, listen, I don't know if there's a person listening today who doesn't want to support you. How does it work, Will? What is the name of the organization today? How do people get involved and support you?
Well, what I'm doing now is called PD Live, which is I do a class every day on Instagram, a personal development class for everybody. It's free for everybody to come on. I dedicate 2 hours. It's our 27th month. 5 days a week I do this, right? So I dedicate that time to that. Even when I fought on harsh times and finance and stuff like that too, as well. I mean, I try to find contracts where though don't interrupt that because people need it. They come on, they be crying, they be going through different things, they losing loved ones, and they find my page like, yo, I need that mental health, I need that help, the support that you got, Coach Will. And I do one-on-ones with people too as well. So if they want to sponsor like people with doing one-on-ones, I charge like $150 for a one-on-one with people to come on and get the help they need. Last summer during June, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, I went outside on the streets and I set up a tent called Sidewalk Therapy. And I opened the door for people to come into my tent and sit down, and whatever is going through in their mind right now, what they're dealing with, I'm gonna help them navigate through that. So I ask people, what's challenging you today? Just today, what's challenging you right now? Like, well, my children. Well, I lost my son. Well, I'm doing it. So there's a lot of people carrying around a whole lot of bad luggage. You know what I'm saying? And you see that's why things are erupting all over. Randomly, random acts of violence are going on. Why? Because people carry so much. They had nowhere to dump it. I mean, the therapist is backed up. There's not enough therapists to help people. The lines are long. People ain't getting the support they need, so they give up. They just carry the stuff around and they project it on other people. So I wanted to do something about it myself and just take my time out and go out there and just really offer it all over the city. So I went to Germantown. I was in South Philly. I was in North Philly. I was on Erie Ave, and I just parked my tent out there. I mean, if I get some support with that, if I get somebody to help me fund me with that, whereas though I can just do that, offer services to the community, and also spread it out with my team, PD family, because I'm coaching, I'm teaching people how to be coaches too as well. And this summer, I want to be able to have every location in South Philadelphia with a tent set up with some of my coaches out there and offering.
Have you been able to attract these coaches? I mean, how many have you been able to build up in their life?
Well, I've been training them. I've been training the guys who've been in my personal development classes. I've been training them now. This Sunday, I'm starting an intense emotional intelligence class.
Jeez.
Wow.
Right.
So, Sunday,
so much productivity. So much productivity, Will. You're just getting things done. I don't know if just listening to you, there's just so much authenticity. I mean, there's just so much power in your words. Yeah. But I mean, to be real specific, is there a website, Will?
Well, I have a website. Yeah, it's Will Latif Little.
Yeah, so Latif is Latif.
Yep. WillLatifLittle.com. That's my website right there. You can go on there. You can see everything I've been doing around the country with Tim, with One Life, with things I've been doing on my own journey. And also, you want to support something you want to support that's really going to get work done, then just you can send money to me to support the things I'm doing, the efforts I'm doing too as well. Because I'm right now I'm working at Amazon, which is like 10 hours a night. And I don't want to be doing it. I just started there like 2 months ago because of some financial situations. I was working with the school at the end of the school district, but a lot of the principals not embracing the book. Some more, they know that emotional intelligence is important for our students,
right?
But a lot of people are really supportive of the change that is needed for our schools, for our youth. And I see a lot of pushback from the value that people want to bring, right? And I was like saying, so you can't help these kids because they're not getting the right people in their life to get the support they need, Mm-hmm. So I had to pick up a job because a lot of schools wasn't embracing the emotional.
Right.
I mean, so now
normally the model is you charge a small stipend when you speak at a school. That would be the normal way to do it, right? Yeah. Will?
Right.
But you're saying if the school doesn't want to pay you, you still want to go. Is your point?
Yeah, exactly. So I try to get people to support that. People who want, I know people give to charities all the time, and a lot of times they probably don't know where that money goes at to as well. But know that if you donate money to this cause, it's definitely going into the community. I've been doing it for 25 years with no funding, just my own.
You have a charity set up, Will?
No, I don't have a charity set up at all. I just have most people send money to my Cash App page. They send it to that if they want to donate money to something, or they want to donate to somebody getting one-on-one sessions. Like, I want to pay for 2 sessions for somebody, especially people in my class. They come to my class and they be crying. They be going through things. I just lost a son or daughter. Like, well, I want to pay for a one-on-one for her, or I want to pay for one-on-one for him. I mean, so I was like, all right, send to my Cash App, and I'll book them for it.
What is your Cash App, Will?
My Cash App is PD, P as in Peter, D as in Derek, Vibes as in VIBES. 2022. So it's personal development vibes. That's what it's called. Personal development.
Yeah. In the year 2022.
Yeah.
I love that. And boy, I'm really motivated, in particular with this idea of the sidewalk
therapy,
sidewalk therapy, or tent therapy, whatever you had the name for.
Josh, it reminded me of what John Maxwell does every year, where he says he chooses about 5 different people that he's going to personally coach that can then go out in the world and coach others. And that sounds like what you're doing, Will, with the sidewalk therapy. Amazing.
Yeah. And you know what? It's ironic, right? 3 hours I'm out there, I would get probably 10 or 12, 15 people from 16 years old, 14 years old to 50 years old or 60 years old, men and women who have issues, and they said, "Oh, you here? I can sit down and talk?" Like, yes. I mean, so we'll talk, and I'll just give them some tools. And what I want to do too is be able to give them my book. This book, my book right here is called.
Yeah, let's see the book cover for the video. And it's on Amazon. Will, is it on Amazon?
No, it's not on Amazon. I put this one on Amazon. My first book is on Amazon, but not this one, because Amazon takes the majority of my money. So I want to sell this myself. But this one right here, I changed the title to FUC right there, say Finding Your Core Self. But I changed the title to Just Take Your Life Back. My other books. I mean, so.
And where would people buy that?
Well, they'll buy from me. They go to my website, and they'll probably just go send me a message to my website, and I would deliver it. I would send it to a package, or if they're in the area, I would deliver it to him myself.
Wow.
And then
So
sorry, go ahead, Josh.
no, just all of us, you know, we're going to have this in the show notes, but it's to spell out your website. It's the full name, right? WILLLATIFLITTLE. So it's his name, 3 names, right? Put together.com.
And then, so Will, as we're coming to a close here, what you mentioned that people sign up for different things and see your, you know, everything you teach on Instagram. What is your Instagram handle?
Latif, LATIF _ MUHSIN life coach.
Latif _ say it again.
Muhsin, MUHSIN.
Life coach.
Yeah, _ life coach. Yeah.
Got it.
You know what?
Right.
After we do all this, we'll grab it all, right, John, and we'll make sure it gets over to the show notes. So thank you very much, Will.
I'm gonna show you guys something else too, right?
Please do.
To inspire some people. This right here. See this?
Yeah.
This is called poetry in a bottle. So what I'm doing now is people are buying, like you do buy a Hallmark card or a greeting card. People are buying these pieces right here. This is one of the most elegant ones I have. The $45 bottle with the crystal top. Wow. And they're given to family members, and they can pop up the cork, and they can go into the bottle, they quote a poem out, like this. And then it's like, I appreciate you, or with gratitude, or self-care, or self-love, you know what I mean, or how much I appreciate you, things of that nature. And they can just roll it back up and put it back in the bottle and put it on their little mantelpiece or over top of their fireplace or whatever it is, and keep it for a long time.
Wow.
Do you have people help you make those, or you do it all yourself? Do you have any?
I do it all myself. I do it all myself right now. I mean, when it gets bigger, because I just started like 3 weeks ago again. I started this in 2000, but the bottles got discontinued. I was in the mall and everything. The bottles got discontinued, so now I found the bottles all over again. So now I'm starting it all over again and pushing it back out there, so I can make money, so I can be able to go around and do the things I'm doing as well. So yeah, so that's definitely
poetry in a bottle.
Yeah,
man, Will, thank you. What an amazing show, Josh.
Yeah, very amazing, Will. We're kind of glowing over here, man. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Damn straight. We just got we got to the end of another great show. And everyone listening right now, you're the family and friends. Thanks for staying till the end.
That was so fun. And hey, hit the like, hit subscribe. We're here to serve you guys. That's why we're doing this show. Josh is not paying me. I'm doing this off of my quote unquote sweat equity because we want to make a difference in your life. And then that ripple effect will continue to touch the world.
Hey, amen, brother. Please check us out on capitalhacking.com, all the social media threads. And yes, I know you've probably already sent this episode to one of your best friends. Thank you. We love you. Just go right into your iPhone, hit the plus symbol. We'll talk to you later. See you next week.
Share.